Hello students. So today's topic is theorem of parallel axis. So basically, first of all, to understand the theorem, before going on to the statement, we'll derive the equation for that theorem. So once you derive the equation from for that theorem, from that equation, understanding the statement becomes easier. So from equation itself, you can make out the statement. So basically, first of all, you have to consider an object. Suppose this is some object. There is some axis passing through the object, passing through this point O. Let this axis be A, O, P. Now you have to consider another axis passing through the center of mass of that object. So basically, what is center of mass? Center of mass is the position or the point of an object at which whole mass of that object is supposed to be concentrated. So if C is the center of mass, then we will consider an axis A, C, B passing through the center of mass. So this axis was MOP and this is ACB. Now we will join these points first. This distance is small h. Now you have to consider a point D, and suppose at point D there is an suppose at point D the mass of the particle is dm. So we will join these points O, D and C, D. Now from point D you have to drop a perpendicular downwards, and you have to join these points C with that perpendicular. So let this point be equal to N. Now your diagram is ready. Now suppose the moment of inertia around this axis is I naught, and moment of inertia around the axis which is passing through your center of mass is I C. So you have these moment of inertia I naught and I C. So this I naught, in the previous lecture we have learned that when there is homogeneous distribution of particles in that object, then the moment of inertia is given as integral of that square of the distance and the mass. So in this case, the moment of inertia for the particle at point D you will write as equal to, the distance here is OD. So integral of OD square dm. Similarly, if you consider this axis which is passing through the center of mass, then the moment of inertia of the particle of mass dm at point D will be given as, first of all, the distance from center of mass is CD, or you can write as dc. So you can write integral of dc square dm. Now these two equations are ready. Now you will consider this equation I naught is equal to integral of do square dn. Now if you consider this triangle ODN, as this was a perpendicular dropped, if you consider this triangle ODN, you can write that do square is equal to dn square plus no square from your Pythagoras theorem. So substituting the value of do square here, you can write I naught is equal to integral of dn square plus no square into dm. Now from the figure you can see that no can be written as the sum of these two parts. So you can write no is equal to OC plus CN. So OC plus CN or NC, same thing. So you can substitute those values here. So I naught is equal to integral of dn square plus OC plus NC whole square. Whole equation multiplied by dn. Now here you can see OC plus NC whole square. You can apply the identity a plus b whole square, which is equal to a square plus b square plus 2ab. So I naught will be equal to integral of dn square plus OC square plus 2 OC into NC plus NC square. This whole equation multiplied by dm. Now, moving on to the next step. You can write, first of all, look into the diagram. Consider this triangle DCN. So when you consider this triangle DCN, from Pythagoras theorem, you can write DC square is equal to NC square plus DN square. Right? In this equation, you can see DN square plus NC square is there. So you can write those two terms together, DN square plus NC square, and the remaining terms are OC square plus 2 OC NC whole multiplied by dm. Now this from the Pythagoras theorem is equal to DC square. Okay, so this is plus OC square plus 2 dot OC dot NC whole multiplied by dm. Now you know that this OC is equal to small h. So you can substitute the value here. So integral of DC square plus OC is equal to h plus 2 h NC whole multiplied by dm. Now just applying the integral to every term of that equation, you will get integral of DC square, and multiplying dm also to every term, DC square dm plus integral of, now h is constant, so h will be outside, it will be just dm plus 2 h integral of NC dm. So you have basically these three terms. Now previously we have seen that integral of DC square dm is equal to IC. So the same thing you can substitute here. So IC plus h square. Now integral of dm, we had considered a small particle at point D whose mass is dm. So if you integrate it over the whole body, then you can write capital M because the object is of mass capital M. Now what about this term? So now this NC, it is the distance of the point from center of mass. As you can see from the diagram, it is the distance of the point from center of the mass. So if any mass distribution is symmetric around the center of mass, it is always symmetric around the center of mass. In that case, this integral is equal to 0, only this term. So that integral goes out. So the remaining terms you have is I naught is equal to IC plus MH square. So this is a final equation for theorem of parallel axis. Now as you have understood this final equation, you can just understand the statement of that theorem. So the statement says that the moment of inertia of an object about any axis, I naught is the moment of inertia of the object around any axis. So moment of inertia of an object about any axis is the sum of its moment of inertia about an axis parallel to the given axis and passing through center of mass. So this second axis was parallel to the given axis and it was passing through the center of mass. And in this axis, the moment of inertia was IC. So moment of inertia about an axis parallel to the given axis and passing through center of mass. And the product of mass of the object and square of the distance between the axes. So it is very easy to write down the statement once you know this final equation. So from this equation itself, you can derive your theorem. You don't need to mug up it every time. So you should always remember the equation first in this case and then write the statement. So basically this was your theorem of parallel axis. This theorem as well as the next theorem which we'll be covering in the next video lecture is very important because these two theorems have been frequently asked in your board exams. Previous year also and last to last year also it was asked. So this concept should be clear to you. Thank you.